Okay, this is Monica, and I am with happyandblessedhome.com. And today I have a really special treat for you. I have a great friend who is also a professional photographer. Her name is Melissa Howell, and she blogs at Ice Cream Inspiration. And Melissa is actually giving away a coaching session. If you would like to learn how to get better photos of your family, of your kiddos, and I know, especially with the holidays coming up and Christmas cards on the horizon, this is a great topic for families everywhere. She has agreed to give away a package of her services to someone who signs up and wins. And she's going to go ahead and give us a link for that in the comments. But also, she's agreed to allow me to interview her and give everyone some tips on photography. So if you've ever wanted to take better pictures, this is going to be something you'll want to watch. So I'm so excited that she could peel away some time from her busy family life and agree to let me interview her. So without any further delay, I'll introduce Melissa and she can tell you a little bit about herself. Melissa, tell me a little bit about you and your blog and what kind of topics you write about and what readers can find if they visit Ice Cream Inspiration.
Hey, thank you so much, Monica. I'm super excited to be here today. My blog is called Ice Cream Inspiration, and it did start out just as a blog to share my ice cream recipes. But then I realized that I love more than ice cream, and so I started sharing a lot about home organization, which has been very popular, and also about makeovers for women that looks at the whole being, I guess, the insides of the woman and not just what she looks like outside. And so that has been really great for me to share as well. I am a professional photographer. I have been for 11 years. I am actually a certified professional photographer, which means I had to take a technical test and have my work reviewed by a panel of judges or whatever. So I love to share what I know. I love helping other people get pictures of their families because our families are our treasures. They're our most important in our lives. And so that is what I am super excited to be giving away. I'm actually doing a Facebook Live series this month, called Professional Photographer Secrets for Amazing Family Pictures. So when I give you this link, or when Monica gives you the link at the end of this video, it will take you to a post where I have my first 2 videos from that series posted. I'm going to be doing my 3rd one tomorrow. So make sure you look for the link so that you can be there tomorrow for my Facebook Live.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, and we met at the Build Your Blog conference in Salt Lake City, Utah. What was it, almost 8 months ago now?
February,
And it's just amazing, like, who you get to meet and just the talent and just the amazing skills of other bloggers. And so it's exciting to meet, and I'll be following along, Melissa, since I can always use more tips on especially catching 2 high-speed, rambunctious boys, which seems to be my biggest challenge. But I sent Melissa a couple of questions, and so we're going to go ahead and walk through those. And hopefully this will also give you some great ideas for your next photography effort. And so let me go ahead and click on my questions real quick. Let's see, what are a few tips that you can offer to get kids to cooperate when taking photos?
Okay, this is a really great question, and I think something that every parent wants to know, because I know that as a parent it's super stressful to take your kids to get their pictures taken or to go for a family picture, and you're just praying that the kids will cooperate, right?
Yeah.
So I will say that I have never seen bribes work. So the parents so many times say, oh, if you just be good for this photo session, we'll go to Wendy's, or I'll give you a sucker, or whatever. Especially with little kids, their minds cannot think that far. I mean, they can't keep that motivation in their minds for that long of a time. So I know we all want to do bribes or rewards, but for this, they don't really work. So for little kids, the main thing is they need to be distracted. You can't like sit there and tell them, okay, you have to sit still and you have to smile. It kind of has to be a game for them. something that's really fun is to have like either the mom or the dad do a really big fake laugh. Like if the dad goes, oh, ho, 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 the kids will, that'll be funny. Or if the mom is like, you know, that's something that makes the kids laugh, makes Monica laugh anyhow. And I feel really.
It does work.
So another thing is also letting them actually hold one of their favorite toys. And I know sometimes we don't like other things to be in the pictures, but it keeps their hands still so that they're not like off trying to grab other things and being distracted. So if you can have something just even little that they can hold, that's also really helpful. A lot of times I will also ask little kids to tell me if there is a bug in my camera. So like if they won't look at me, especially if I'm doing like individuals of a kid, I'll say, hey, is there a bug in my camera? And then they look directly in the lens. And so I can get a really good picture of them that way. With older kids, I would say ages like even 4 and higher, letting them have some control over the situation is huge in getting them to cooperate. So for example, asking a child, hey, would you like us to take pictures by this tree or that tree? For these next pictures, do you think we should be sitting down or standing up? What about, should we be laughing in this one or should we be serious? And when they have that kind of control, they're going to be way more cooperative.
I think that's a great idea. It's definitely something I need to try. I know for me, sometimes I'll either like put a telephoto lens on it and like put it on high speed so I can catch them when they're actually doing something sometimes. But I happen to love the high speed shutter speed on my camera because it's the only way I've been able to get them not looking blurry.
Yeah, it's true.
But those are awesome ideas. Do you, like when you're scoping out a place to actually take photos, what do you look for when you're identifying a location to take great photos?
Right. I always look for shade. Always shade. So, and what I also look for is where the sun is going to be in relation to that shade. So, for example, if I see a big bank of trees, that's going to offer shade, but it needs to offer shade at the right time of the day.
Right.
So, trees, houses or barns or whatever, you're going to have the best luck if you're shooting in shade. If you're shooting out in full sun, you're not going to be happy with the results.
Yeah, it's going to blow out the color, isn't it?
And your person will be really dark, and the background will be really bright.
Yeah.
So shade is your friend.
So let me ask you this: what do you? So you kind of talked a little bit about letting them have their favorite toy, but are there any other props that you kind of try to always include, or do you look for certain things to kind of set the scene, or when you're thinking through a photo, what do you think about as far as props?
Right. So I do most of my shoots outside. So I don't usually bring a lot of props. Sometimes I've had like the cute old chair in the field and the grass and stuff, and that's always really cute. Wow. You can bring tools, you can bring or find rocks and logs. Fences are great. So I normally don't bring stuff. Sometimes the parents can bring things if they want to that are like meaningful for the kids. But generally I just look around in nature and use what's there.
Yeah, that sounds great. I bet you that makes for really great photos. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The next question that I had was, is there a right time of day to take photos? I know my husband takes some landscape photos, and he often tells me that either early in the day or later in the day is better. But I was wondering if that applied also to family photos and taking pictures of people as well.
Yes, it absolutely does. So the best time to take pictures is about an hour after sunrise or an hour before sunset. Okay. So when I do photo shoots, I usually say about 2 hours before sunset, just in case families are late. But really the perfect time is about an hour and a half before sunset. And I talked about this in my first Facebook video that you can go back and look at. the light is what is called the golden hour. And you'll notice, like right before sunset, it is golden. The landscape is golden, and it's because the color of the light changes as it passes through the atmosphere at that time of the day. So it's really warm, it's really diffuse, it's beautiful. That is just going to be the best light. And if you have light overhead, like at noon, it's going to create harsh shadows under your eyes. You still can do it if you find good shade, but I will always do my photo shoots in the evening, well, right before sunset, like an hour and a half, like I said. I have done some at like 7 in the morning as well.
That's early. You've got to have a family who wants to get up early to do 7 in the morning.
It is early.
Yeah, knowing my family, we would opt for the hour and a half before sunset. That would be what we would opt for as far as timing, if we could do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then the next question I have is there, like, when a family's considering taking family photos, what's your experience as far as what should a family kind of budget for taking professional photos? What do you think is, when they're looking at options, and do they look at time? Do they look at number of pictures? I mean, how do they figure out what's a good rate to consider?
Right. That is a really great question, because there's something that I don't think a lot of people understand about photography, and it's the old adage that you get what you pay for.
Right.
And that is 100% true in photography. So honestly, you need to budget a lot.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what I personally charge, but here's the thing. I know that family pictures seem like it's a big investment, and it is, but you don't have to do it every single year. Right. So I would say get family pictures, like really good ones, about once every 2 years, no more than 3 years, because your kids will change so much in that time. So realize that you're not going to be paying this every year. And also realize that what you're getting is a work of art. You're not just getting pieces of paper with your family on it. You just look at it like it's artwork, and that is what you're paying for. So I personally charge $175 for a session for up to 4 people. Any more than that, the price goes up for that. Okay. And then for an 8x10, I charge $40. Okay. So I would say and it also depends, I guess, in which part of the country you live. Things can have different prices, but I think generally speaking, I would budget at least $500. That's what I would suggest for really good photography of your family.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard varying ranges, and I do think it depends on where you live. And we have some family that live in Florida, and it's higher there. I think out in the Rockies where you and I are, it's a little bit more reasonable. So yeah, that sounds reasonable. Let's see here. The next question is not just budgeting funds, but also budgeting your time. I mean, how much time I know for me, like if our family were to do family photos, I would be the person coordinating that. And I would have to think about, okay, I have to budget time for them to get ready. I have to budget time for them to get their things together, to get there, that sort of thing. What do you think the typical family should budget as far as time-wise goes to do a really good photo shoot with a professional photographer?
Right. So I do all my shoots, like I said, on location, and they take an hour. So for a family shoot, it's an hour. If you're going to be inside a studio, it will be less than that. Also, if you are planning on having newborn pictures, that's a whole different ball game. Yeah. And I have never had one of those take less than 2 hours. Okay. They typically take more like 3, just because you're trying to get the baby to go to sleep and stay asleep so you can get those super cute pictures. Yeah. But families almost always an hour.
Okay, good to know. So it's manageable to me. I mean, to get my boys to cooperate for an hour.
And the time actually flies. It goes by way faster than you would think, actually, especially when you're outside.
Yeah. I definitely, I look forward to, they're now getting old enough where I feel like, okay, I think they'll cooperate. I think I can get them to really come along. So it's kind of an exciting time for our family.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do you think about, and I guess this is a personal preference thing as well for just about any family, but do you have any thoughts about matching outfits? Like, do you think families should coordinate, or should colors play off of each other, or should they go monotone? Should they just not care and let everybody express themselves? I mean, what's your kind of thought on that?
Right. So recently, not in the not so distant past, it was really popular for families to wear like all black shirts or all white shirts. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily, but I personally like to have families wearing colors, not all the same color, but colors that coordinate.
Okay.
And generally speaking, having people wear solids,
Okay.
but sometimes it's really fun to have everybody wear solids, but then like one or two people wearing a matching pattern. So for example, I've done shoots where, so I recently did one where the mom was wearing kind of like a maroon dress. Two of her sons were wearing black shirts, and her husband and her youngest son were wearing matching plaid shirts that had some of the maroon in it.
Okay.
So it all coordinated, but it was really cute because it wasn't exactly the same.
I gotcha.
So, yeah.
I think I would like that better too.
Yeah. Our family, we just did our own, and my husband wore dark gray. I wore dark purple. Another daughter wore light purple, and my other two wore like a cream color. So I think just combinations like that add a little bit more interest and variety than the standard everybody wears exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I like the idea of coordinating, but not necessarily completely matching, and kind of staying in the same color family. I think that sounds smart. Plus, it's got to help in the event that you have to do any photo editing, with colors. I know, for instance, I always have a hard time when I'm editing food photos, for instance. If I get red, it's really hard to get it to cooperate in the edit. So I don't know if that's true about family photos, but okay, let's see. Then the next one is, and again, this is probably a little more personal taste, but what are your thoughts on including extended family? I mean, how big should you go? I mean, are we talking, when you get into the wedding picture size, what does that do, and how does that work? Or do you recommend just keeping it smaller? What are your thoughts?
Right. So I would say the more people that you have, the less artistic the picture is going to be, I guess, if you know what I mean. Like if you have a family reunion, you're generally just going to have people stacked in rows, and I don't like that. I like everybody who can be, to just be in the front. So, of course you need those family reunion pictures, when everybody's there, but I would say also make sure that you break off and do individual family units.
Right.
So that you don't have that huge group. Plus, the more people you have, the more head swapping you have to do in Photoshop.
Okay.
If you know about that, or if
I've heard of it. I've never actually done it, but I've heard of it.
Oh yeah, I do it all the time.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh.
I guess that would be one way to overcome, the person that's got their eyes closed, or
exactly
who's not smiling.
Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not, and sometimes you just can't do it. So the more people you have, the more it's more random and more difficult to get everybody looking great at the same time, and you're just going to have to accept that not everybody's going to be looking awesome.
So you mean like, do I have a bug in my camera? It doesn't necessarily work for like the aunt or the uncle, like from somewhere else.
The uncle who doesn't want to be there in the first place and is really annoyed that
like, we have to take this picture. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
I want my hamburger.
I can only imagine what you go through. I can only imagine. Well, those are awesome tips. I'm just so glad that you could take some time today and meet with me and kind of let me interview you and kind of mine some of your knowledge and wisdom in the photo taking area. And so why don't you tell us a little bit more about your giveaway and how people can sign up and get on board with you and find out more about what you're doing. So
Okay, awesome. So I am doing, as I mentioned before, a Facebook Live series, and it's every Tuesday of this month. So there are 2 more Tuesdays left at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. So that would be noon Eastern Time. And I have just been giving tips and tricks about how to take great family pictures. And along with that, I am doing a giveaway. And one of the things I'm giving away is a book called Say No to Auto. And it's by Kristen Duke. She is a wonderful photographer and blogger as well. And it's all about teaching people how to use their fancy digital cameras. So it's mainly a beginner book. And then I am also giving away a 1 hour photography coaching session with myself. And with that, if you're in the Denver area, it will be in person. If you're not, then it can be via Skype or Google Hangouts or any other way that technology will allow us to do it. And we'll just talk about whatever you want, whatever you need help with. If you need help with the technical aspects, lighting, posing, if you want to show me your pictures and have me give you feedback on how to improve them, just anything. And I feel even if you don't want to be a professional photographer, everybody wants to take great pictures, right? I mean, I don't know anybody who's like, I just want to take bad pictures for the rest of my life. Everybody loves taking pictures. It's such a fun creative outlet, and to be able to improve is a really great feeling. So, and I feel like having kind of that one-on-one interaction with a coach is really beneficial, more than reading as much as you can online or being in forums, and that's definitely helpful. But having the one-on-one time is really beneficial. So I'm super excited to be giving this away, and it would be awesome if one of your viewers or subscribers would win that. So in order to win, you can watch my Facebook Live videos, or you can go to my blog. I have a post. It's called Professional Photographer Secrets for Amazing Family Pictures, and it's up on my blog right now. You may have to scroll down a teeny bit to get to it, depending on when you go there. But that gives you all the details of how to enter as well. And my daughter just showed up.
Hi.
Seed.
Radio video that's being recorded. Can you tell
It
me
is?
in a minute?
Okay then.
Okay.
You mean Skype?
Yeah.
That's awesome. She's adorable.
Okay.
We'll definitely include a link, so that
Okay.
people can just go straight there and check it out. And
Yeah.
I just can't thank you enough again. I know you've got lots going on, and I just really appreciate your time. And it's pretty exciting that you're doing this, and someone's really going to benefit. You may totally change their family photos from here on into forever. So that's kind of exciting that someone's going to be able to benefit from that. So thank you for your sweet, giveaway, and for spending some time with me today. Is there anything else you want to add?
I just want to say thank you so much for letting me do this. You are the sweetest, nicest person in the world, and so fun and personable. And I'm super grateful that we got to meet and that I had the opportunity to do this today.
Yeah, well, thanks again. And you'll have to keep me posted and let me know who wins, so we can see if they're a happyandblessedhome.com reader or fan.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks again, and thanks for all your great tips. I'm certainly going to be keeping some of those in mind as I'm shooting photos of my very active and rambunctious little guys. So you have a great rest of your evening, and thank you so much.